It's the Windy City and then the Music City on back-to-back nights on this quick 2-game road trip with the dads in tow. We get you set for the Oilers and the Blackhawks here on the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show. Good evening, everyone. Hope you're doing well out there. If you're driving, we're glad to keep you company. If you're listening on iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, of course, EdmontonSportsTalk.com's audio player. We appreciate it very much. To those watching on YouTube, thank you as well. Join the conversation. Text us 780-218-9999. Jump into the nasty chat. And then we'll have a good time on this pregame show. Joaquin Gage is in as our analyst, and we'll talk to Kalen Lumpkins from the Chicago Tribune. Benny Thomson back at EST Global HQ. Benny, I apologize, buddy. I wanted to be there with you, but I have not been feeling well, and this cold continues to linger. It's like all like right here and here now. So had to take it to the home studio again tonight. So we'll be strong. We'll be all right. And then we're on location tomorrow. Hopefully everything will be good to go. How you doing today, Benny?
I'm good, man. Good. Came in. It's a good career. Everyone's in a happy mood today. I mean, in terms of just anticipating a good matchup here, I'm excited to see what, Connor Bedard's made his return back to the Blackhawks after an injury. I'm curious to see how he does. The Chicago Blackhawks were not a very good team once Bedard left with injury. So curious to see how they play tonight. But I also think it's a great opportunity for the Oilers to bounce back after a rough game, you could say, against the LA Kings Saturday night.
Yeah, I also appreciate you not partaking in Reed Wilkins' push or the tush push on the promo show or video for the show.
He really wanted me to. He really did.
Yeah.
And I had enough. He kept asking me, and I was fed up. So
yeah, no, you did the right thing. So I appreciate that. If you didn't see it, it's on the Instagram. I don't think we put it on our Twitter, but a funny little promo for the show. All right, Gage will be by in about a minute. I see him getting ready. Of course, GCL Diesel, providers of the best diesel engine components around, from turbochargers to ejectors, fuel pumps to sensors. They are the critical engine component experts, proud to serve Edmonton and Northern Alberta for over 50 years. The Oilers 22-16-7, the Blackhawks 19-19-7. This is game number 46 for the Edmonton Oilers, and for the Chicago Blackhawks, it is their 46th game as well. Edmonton sitting second in the Pacific Division, 3 points back of the Vegas Golden Knights. Vegas still has a game in hand on the Oil and has a 4-game winning streak. And then on the Chicago end of things, they sit 3 points back of the third or the final wild card spot. And that's Seattle and LA holding it down at 48 points. The Hawks 6-3-1 in their last 10 and a 10-9-4 record at home. On the road, the Oilers 11-11-3. Benny, throw out the question of the night before we bring in Joaquin.
Okay, so question of the night tonight. Andrew Mangiapane seems like he's going to make his return back into the lineup. What does Mangiapane have to do for you to satisfy his return to the lineup tonight? Let us know.
Interesting.
Yeah. I'm curious to see what he does.
Can he satisfy? That's another thing, too, and that's totally on the table for sure. Let's bring in our game analyst, Joaquin Gage. Hi, Gage. How you doing?
I'm good, buddy.
Thanks for filling in for the boys tonight. We really appreciate it.
Oh no, it's okay, Tommy. It's all right. We're all battling through. Hernan felt like he gave a Michael Jordan-like performance today, but whatever. It's just par for the course.
I think he was feeling it too. I think this is going around. Like the Blackhawks, they're dealing with the flu. We'll talk to Kalen Lumpkins about that. But and I heard you weren't feeling too good either.
Yeah, no, exactly like Hernan. We gotta quit making out in the back room, I guess, because he said the exact same way I felt this week. Just fighting something all weekend, didn't get up too much, and it was just like drained, and you kind of feel like you're underwater a little bit, right? So
that's
it's not
where I'm
bad.
at.
I think I'm close to the edge of it. So hopefully tomorrow I feel good.
I'm in the same boat as you, my friend, for another water reference. So hopefully we get past this and we're fighting fit the rest of the week. All right. What would you say to Benny's question of the night? Text us 780-218-9999. Hop into the nasty chat as well. Benny, throw it out there one more time.
What does Mangiapane have to do for you to satisfy you on his return to the lineup tonight? Let us know.
Joaquin.
Something resembling anything, right? I don't think it's any possible positive in his game where scrum, good scoring chances, maybe it is a goal, right? Great defensive play, just something that can maybe get the irk of the coach to say, oh, okay, I like what I see and earn his ice time, because that's the things that are under his control are those things, how he plays on the ice. He can't control if he's moved or where he plays in the lineup. All he can control is the time that he is on the ice. That's where his main focus has to be.
I like that. That's well said, Joaquin. For me, just, kind of along the lines of what you said, but take this opportunity, make something happen. I want to see offense from him, Gager, and if he really does want to make himself appealing to another team, how much more can he help himself than by scoring, setting up a play, something like playing with a little bit of gusto. So that's what I'd like to see. And I don't know if it satisfies anybody or it satisfies me in particular. Not that I'm trying to be impressed by anybody, but I think that would be nice to see, especially given the fact that he's been a healthy scratch in 4 of the last 5 games. So just go do something, man. Make it happen. Benny, how would you answer your own question of the night?
Well, he should be pissed off. Like that, that to me right away is like, if I don't see any emotion from him, like, I don't know what else you can think of Mangiapane, but I'd imagine he's going to go out there and start scrums. But, we're going to play Knobloch later on today or later on the show. But, I wonder, because he's talked about how the puck is dying on a stick a little bit too often and how he needs to be a little bit more offensively threatening. And I think that's the reason why the Oilers brought him here. They brought him in here to not necessarily be this 30 goal scorer top 6 winger, but pot 15, right? But be a middle 6 winger that they can rely on to not completely, be brutal in your own end, but at least in the offensive end, look dangerous, right? Have an impact on the game, and he just simply hasn't been that for a large majority of the season this year. So I hope that we see a little bit of that come back with him being back in the lineup tonight. Now we'll see if that lasts, because I think there is a trade probably coming for Andrew Mangiapane, like we've reported a bunch of times. So. We'll see if it actually sticks around here in Edmonton. But yeah, I'm looking for some offensive threatening, just that play from him today. Yeah,
fair enough. And we've got some interesting responses already via the text line and the nasty chat. Vincenzo says, instead of tossing up pizzas, make a nice margarita pizza. Zedmo has a couple of suggestions: fight the ref, earn a trade. Arthur says Jack Michaels, say his name more than once a period. Easy E, bottom 6 scoring. That's fair. Baptized Big Uke, setting the bar low and just says, don't suck. And then Arthur also adds Swiss Army Gager. Yeah, he is a Swiss Army knife, that Joaquin Gage. We're blessed with
more of a Leatherman.
Well, Zedmo says the question of the night should be, is Gager wearing his leather pants?
You know me, Tommy. It's no pants when I'm doing this.
Hell yeah, brother. You be as comfortable as you want. Okay, a box pounder kind of reverses it on us. It says, hey guys, does Mangiapane have any trade value at all? And are they just trying to showcase him for potential trade? Cheers from Box Pounder. Joaquin, what would you say to Box Pounder?
I guess it all depends on how the management's looking at their team right now. Obviously, you're not going to probably be looking at Mangiapane's current body of work up to this point this season, but you kind of get a good idea of what this guy is capable of. And even if you look back to last year, his contributions to the Washington Capitals were really good, and that was in that bottom 6 role. I think it would be interesting to see what the Edmonton Oilers viewed his position to be, because we know he started in the top 6, but was it to be a top 6 player, or was it a guy that was going to solidify kind of round out their scoring in that bottom six eventually, and maybe just be moonlighting or knocking on the door, not unlike like a Warren Fogle type, right? Maybe they thought it was going to be similar to that. No, it really depends on the team. It really depends on the team and their situation and what they need and what they think they can get out of this guy.
Right.
And that's tough, because when you look around the league, there's not a lot of spots there on teams that are successful to bolster their lineup. Am I really going to take a guy who's struggling right now when I need contributions in the bottom six? So again,
Right.
I kind of go back to the things that he can control of. And I believe it was O-Dog talking about this, and I think I mentioned this before, but he was talking about when he would go through slumps during his career, and he was a very talented, skillful hockey player.
Yep.
And just going back to the basics, right? Getting in the corner, mucking it out, winning the corner battle, getting it back to someone, going to the net, standing in front, and hopefully, it might hit you in the butt or go in, and you get a greasy one that you didn't really even mean to get, but just something like that can be a catalyst to having future success. All of a sudden, you start feeling good about yourself, more so because you've reverted back to the simplest form of hockey too, right? It's just outworking the guy across from you, and that's where it has to start. Because that's what coaches want. That's what GMs want. This guy's going in and winning battles. If he's winning battles and doing the right things, he becomes a lot easier to move, because that's what every team wants.
Fair. Well said, Gager. Well said. Juan says he hopes he does something with his dad in the stands with 7 minutes of ice time. Well, he's on the third line tonight, so we'll see if he gets a little bit more than that. All right, let's roll into your starting lineups for tonight, and then we'll get to game changers shortly after that. For the Oilers, McDavid between Nugent Hopkins and Hyman, Draisaitl with Podkolzin and Kapanen. One more game after tonight to see who wins the Popeyes bet. Roslovic with Mangiapane on the left, Savoy on the right, Lazar between Janmark and Frederick on defense, Ekholm with Bouchard, Nurse with Emberson, Stasny with Regula, Ike Howard comes out for Mangiapane. As for the Chicago Blackhawks tonight, Connor Bedard between Ryan Green and Andrei Burakovsky, Jason Dickinson centering Tyler Bertuzzi and Ilya Mikheyev, Oliver Moore centering Teuvo Teravainen, and Nick Lardis, Nick Foligno pair with Ryan Donato and Landon Slaggert on his flanks. On defense for the Hawks, we're expecting Alex Vlasic with Louis Crevier, Wyatt Kaiser with Artyom Levshunov, Matt Grzelcyk with Connor Murphy. It's expected Sam Lafferty and Colton Dock are the guys that will not play tonight. You're starting netminders for the Oilers. 28-year-old Connor Ingram, 3-2-1 is his record. 298 goals against average, 892 save percentage in 6 games this season. Ingram versus the Blackhawks over the course of his career, 6 games played, a 2-3-1 record. 3.0 goals against average, 911 save percentage versus Chicago. And then at the other end of the rink, 24-year-old Spencer Knight is expected to get the start. He has been hit with the flu bug among many others around the Blackhawks thus far and lately. Spencer Knight, 13-11-6, 262 GAA, 910 save percentage, 2 shutouts in 30 games this season. He has an 0-1-2 record versus Edmonton with a 330 goals against average, 901 save percentage in 3 appearances versus the Oil. That brings us to the Advantage Sport Medicine and Physiotherapy injury report. Connor McDavid's got a team of specialists. You've got a bag of frozen peas. Get the same locker room approach trusted by the best in the game at Advantage Sport Medicine. Book your assessment today. www.advantagesportmed.ca or call 780-460-9977. For the Oilers, Tristan Jarry, LTIR lower body. Jake Wallman, LTIR lower body. Apparently he's getting close, though. Adam Henrique, IR undisclosed, expected to be out past the Olympic break. And then for the Blackhawks, the one injury of significance, Frankie Nazar, IR, upper body. All right, you can text us 780-218-9999. Jump into the nasty chat as well as we get you set for the second of 3 meetings between the Oilers and the Chicago Blackhawks. Let's get to gauge changers. with our game analyst, Joaquin Gage, brought to you by Damon Bunting Real Estate. Damon Bunting, consistent top producing realtor in the greater Edmonton area for almost 20 years. He and his team would love to help you find that right home or make the move from your current home. Check him out, damonbunting.com, or visit his Instagram at Damon Bunting Real Estate. I love how creative you get with these, Gager, so I appreciate it. Number one tonight, any man can be a father, but it takes someone special to be a dad.
Well, it is the dad's trip. I know Benny's probably a little bit too young. Tommy, you're probably a dad somewhere out there. Who knows? I know for sure I'm a dad. But no, it's we all have played hockey as young kids, and when you do something right and you celebrate with a goal or a save or what have you, you celebrate with your teammates. And who do you look up to first in the stands, right? You look up to your dad, and he's smiling, and if he's smiling, looking back at you, giving you the thumbs up, nothing's better. Right, your dad approves. So I think this tradition is unbelievable to have all these dads. They're probably a complete train wreck on this venture out to Chicago and Nashville, probably just having a blast. But if there's a chance, you don't get these chances much, especially in professional sports. But to have the opportunity to shine in front of your dad and see that look of pride in your father's eyes of what their sons have accomplished is pretty cool. So hopefully they can all have a really successful night towards their fathers.
I've experienced a couple of these father's trips or dad's trips, I should say. And they wind it up pretty good. And sometimes you get included. Sometimes they're off and you're like, holy crap, you guys have fun. See you later. I can't do that. I got to work tomorrow. So really neat. And you know what's kind of cool too? I don't know. I was thinking about this, like mom's trips, dad's trips, whenever they have family on these trips, they always kind of like get like a matching jacket or hat or something like that. I don't know if they did it for this trip. I'm sure we'll find out. Gene, I guarantee you, knows exactly where the dads are sitting. I used to think it was kind of cheesy, but the more I think about it, I'm like, no, it's pretty nice. Like, it's a really nice touch when they do something special for them and get them like a gift or something where they can all look like they're part of the same group, which they are. And it's more, and I appreciate like they all get their sons' jerseys.
Yeah.
But I also like when they do something a little bit different. I think, what do we say? Moms and dad, like jackets and stuff like that. What were you going to say there, Gager?
No, I mean, just you can go to the West Edmonton Mall on a weekend, and there's good chances there's going to be some sort of a hockey tournament. And you can, I know at the Brick Tournament, you walk through there and you see the families with their team jackets on. Right. It doesn't matter how old you are. It's kind of that being in that exclusive club of cheering for your kids at a sporting event. It's awesome. It's absolutely great. So, yeah, whether you're in the NHL or, in the U9s battling for the MAC-T Invitational, you see parents getting all involved and color coordinated with their matching attire as well.
Sounds like a guy who will be involved with the MAC-T Invitational again.
You betcha.
No, baby. There he is, Coach Joaquin. Do you want to add anything to that, Benny Thompson?
No, I mean, to me, I look back to last game. I remember talking about Draisaitl's parents and family being in the stands, and Draisaitl had a 2-goal game and probably one of his better games of the past, in this past stretch here. So I'd expect there's some extra juice for the guys out there. Like, you always want to press your dads, and like you said, Gene probably knows where they're sitting and everything. I'm sure the players do as well. So yeah, I think there's gonna be some extra juice for the Oilers tonight with their papas in the stands tonight.
Yes, the papas, very good use of that. The only thing that I kind of looked at when I was going to the schedule and saw that this was the dad's trip was that it's so short.
Yeah,
two wonderful cities, honestly, two great party cities with a lot to do in each one, but you only get the 3 nights really, and that's the only thing that kind of sucks, but they'll make the most of it. Trust me. I know a couple of those guys, and they take advantage of any opportunity that's presented before them. So let's see if they can get it done for the dads tonight. All right, number 2 on Gage Changers with our very own Joaquin Gage, deep dish pizza, Joaquin?
We've all been to Chicago. We've had the deep dish. It's time to eat for the Edmonton Oilers. When you look at this kind of schedule, it's right before the Olympic break. It's time to make a little hay, I think, Tommy, and bank some points. We look at the fluctuations in the standings between, it can be 2 days, and someone can be at the top of their division, and all of a sudden they're knocking on the door of a wild card spot, right? A lot can change. So I think it's important for them. They kind of have the destiny in their own hands here. The schedule against these teams, I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but you got Chicago, you got Nashville, and you've got the Islanders, all teams that you've had success against. This is probably one of the easiest times right now to finally get one of those elusive 3-game winning streaks going, right? And to do it on the dad's trip is even more special. So it's time to make some hay before everything gets shut down and you hit the recharge button, because we kind of know what this team looks like when they come back after an extended period of time off. It takes them a while to get the engine moving again.
Yeah, that's frustrating for sure for fans. Where do you come out on the winning streak debate? Because I was watching the Reed Wilkins show earlier and I saw the chat. Some people were saying, why can't they win 3 in a row? Why can't they put together a winning streak? I think Big Uke was saying you don't need a winning streak. I have time for both arguments. I'm not going to poo-poo one or the other. Just for me, Joaquin, when I think of good teams, I think of sustained success and having that ability not to control a game, but to take a game. And to me, when I watch hockey and have growing up and all that, good teams are able to do that, to sustain success and not falter. And they've had 8 instances here where they have had the opportunity to make it a winning streak and it doesn't happen.
Yeah, it's interesting because looking at these last 3 games, I thought it was, again, a really good opportunity to lay down to get some points, to bank some points. And I thought that the Winnipeg game was going to be the one that would give them the most trouble. And just looking at the schedule, but you had a Kings team come in with a few guys that are quite familiar with playing and being an Edmonton Oiler and probably wanting to win. You had also the fact that the Oilers have kind of had their way against the Kings in the past in the postseason. So it's the Kings played a great game. They played an honest kind of hockey game. Now, would you want a little bit more from the Edmonton Oilers? Yeah, but the Kings didn't allow them to. I was quite impressed with them coming off the loss and back-to-back nights, and what they put forward. It was almost like they were saving themselves a little bit for the game against Edmonton, if you really look at it. So, but as to yours, yeah, you look at the cream of the crop of the league, and you look no further than the Central Division, right? Those teams go on streaks, and look no further than the Colorado Avalanche. Like it's. But there's dips in the season. I still think that, I mean, you hear Connor McDavid talk about he likes this type of schedule, playing almost every second night. So maybe this is a chance where they can really get things going. It's not going to be easy, but again, I think this is if they're going to win 3 in a row, I think right here is a really good shot to do it.
Benny, where do you stand on the 3 in a row thing, or even just winning streaks in general?
I kind of see both sides. Like, a good hockey club can put together a good amount of wins. And I mean, we've seen it with the Oilers in the past couple of years. Yeah, their 16-game win streak or their 10-game win streak or, wherever. Like, it's a sign of that things are gelling and things are clicking. But I think at the same time, though, like, I feel like I've seen this Oilers team, especially at like the past couple months, or probably started December as well, I'd say, like, their hockey has really turned around. And so I think you can't, like, to say that they haven't had a 3-game win streak is the reason why they won't be a successful team in the playoffs. I think is a little like it's premature. I think that there's a 3-game win streak coming here. Their best chance. I agree with Gage. There's a good chance it happens here. And just a side note, they're wearing their alternates tonight. And their scores with the alternates 6-3, 9-4, 6-2, and 5-1 all wins. So they're wearing them tonight and tomorrow, I believe, against Nashville. So I mean, well, in their favor with the jerseys. But to me, I think you would like to see a 3-game win streak get going here. It's a sign of a good team. But if they finish the season without one, I guess we'll see how their play is, but it probably means that they didn't have a great end to the season. I imagine it's coming around here. I wouldn't be shocked if it's these next 3 games is when they get it done.
Get it done already. Jeez Louise. Make it 9 opportunities and convert on this one. That would be nice, and just so we don't have to talk about it. Or we could just choose not to talk about it, but I feel like it's a thing. All right, it is Gage Changers with Joaquin. Gage, point number 1 was any man can be a father. Pardon me. But it takes someone special to be a dad. Number 2, deep dish pizza. Number 3 on Gage Changers, brought to you by Damon Bunting Real Estate. Can't see the line. Can you, Russ?
So we've all seen that movie. Clark Wilhelm Griswold in the department store shopping for lingerie, it seemed like, for his wife that was still alive. God bless her soul. But what I meant by this is there's been some continuity with the lines here a little bit, right? Obviously, Mangiapane's coming back in, but we all know the Popeyes bet, and Kapanen has fit in quite nicely on that second line. Now, I was talking today with Hernan on EST Afternoons about Mangiapane coming in, and I understood it, but I really felt that although that third line didn't get a lot of good looks, there was some extended pressure put on by that line, and I thought they were getting close to generating something. And I'd like to see them do that a little bit more. Over the last few games, I really think Nabla has made a conscious effort to, obviously he loads up the big 2 in certain situations, but each line has been held together for a lot longer than I think what we've seen this year and what we're used to. So now with the condensed schedule over this period of time, I think this is a real good opportunity to try to get some chemistry, especially it seems to be happening. We know what you have with the first, the second one with Kapanen's growing. We'll see what Mangiapane has. I like that fourth line too, but keeping the lines together and rolling over, keeping everyone fresh, keeping everyone involved in the game, I think is really important throughout this next stretch until the Olympic break.
And we have a little bit of news before we say goodbye to Joaquin for the pregame show. Connor Bedard is out. He is dealing with the flu, so we're talking about that flu bug. We'll get Kalen Lumpkins to discuss that. Gager, your thoughts on how that affects things for the Blackhawks and the Oilers tonight?
Well, we were, I misplaced the name who we were talking to in Chicago. And one of the things we asked was the Chicago Blackhawks, when Bedard went out, found some other areas of contribution offensively and kept their heads above water while their star was out. So this isn't new for this team, not having I think Bertuzzi has really become one of the focal points for some scoring with this team. So they're still quite dangerous. Although they're missing one of their star players, but I just the fact that they're still knocking on the door of a wild card spot, not having their best player in the lineup for 12 games, I believe it was, is a sign of a good team, right? And so, but take advantage of it. Definitely, the Oilers want to take advantage of having a guy that generates quite a bit of offense out of the lineup.
No Connor Bedard for the Chicago Blackhawks. That has certainly moved the line over at Play Alberta. Gager, thank you as always. I look forward to catching up with you on the post-game show, my friend.
Can't wait, boys.
There you go. There is Gage Changers with our very own Joaquin Gage. Bunting Real Estate. All right, before we bring in Kalen Lumpkins from the Chicago Tribune, we're going to get to our game day odds check brought to you by our good friends over at Play Alberta. When you play in Alberta, it stays in Alberta, safe and secure. The revenue generated from Play Alberta is redirected into Alberta's General Revenue Fund, which is used to support programs and services that Albertans rely on every day. All right, things have moved a little bit since the news of Connor Bedard being out. I'm sure that there's been some tweaks to people's betting, or people have hopped on this game a little bit more with Bedard being out. So right now, your money line is the Oilers at minus 169. The Hawks home dogs at plus 142. Over under set at 6.5. The over at minus 125. The under at minus 106. If you're sprinkling, maybe you're getting on board with this game, maybe you're getting on board with the football game tonight, be sure to use your Game Sense. Big thank you to Play Alberta, presenting sponsor of Edmonton Sports Talk. All right, you can text us 780-218-9999. Jump into the nasty chat if you're watching over on YouTube. We're going to welcome in our next guest from Chicago, Kalen Lumpkins from the Chicago Tribune, Hawks beat reporter. And Kalen, I mean, the biggest news, it just came down, is Connor Bedard is suffering from the flu like a bunch of other Hawks. How much, in your opinion, is this going to affect Chicago tonight?
Yes, no Connor versus Connor tonight, unless you want to consider Connor Murphy versus McDavid, the Connor v. Connor matchup. But I think it obviously not having Bedard on the ice for any team will affect you greatly, especially this suddenly. Since he's practiced that morning skate and seemed fine, but the flu is not something you want to mess with for sure. But the Hawks seem to have got their footing together. They cracked off those 4 straight wins without Bedard, and then he came back and things seem to be fine. But I think it would definitely affect them, but the teams seem to have collected themselves without their stars. So I think they'll be ready for tonight.
Yeah, like you mentioned, 5 wins in their last 6 games. They dropped that game to Washington before winning against Nashville in Nashville. Without Bedard, with Bedard, when this team's clicking, what do you think it does well, and what's its MO?
I think it's just how confident this team is in each other, because in past years it just didn't seem to click. I don't know what it is, but it just didn't seem to click. But they're clicking now. The vibe in the locker room is much better than it was before. And in Nashville, especially, they had 4 people out with the flu and still were able to get a shutout win. It is just how into winning that this team is this year, and that wasn't the case in previous years. This team this year is wants to win, and we see it on the ice this year.
How much of that do you think is Jeff Blashill and his approach to coaching this team compared to what we saw from Luke Richardson and his replacement last year? And you know, they've had a bunch of different coaches in the last few years. What's your impression of what Jeff Blashill brings to this group that gives them that confidence and that hunger to win, like you were talking about?
I really like what Blashill is doing. I think he's one of the perfect coaches for a rebuilding young team. Obviously, there's highs and lows, and he's preached that this season will be highs and lows. They'll have their win streaks, they had their losing streaks, but I think the message he's giving to them is that he's trying to find my words. I think he knows how to bring the locker room together, through a young locker room together, through the hard times and through the good times too. He's preaching that message of this is a learning year for this team. And I think that's made the team more comfortable, that there's pressure. You want to win, obviously, but there's not that pressure of being perfect every game. And those imperfections are learning opportunities rather than a negative experience. So I think he's given that lesson to the team, and they've run away with it.
Kalen Lumpkins joining us from the Chicago Tribune as we get you set for the Oilers and the Blackhawks. Second of 3 meetings this season between these two teams. And we're expecting Spencer Knight between the pipes with the Hawks. He's won his last 3 starts. He was dealing with the flu. A young up-and-coming goaltender. And like you talked about, this is a young up-and-coming team. What do you notice about Knight when he's on top of his game? And what has he been like for this group?
I think every time I've spoke to Spencer Knight, he's kept that cool, calm demeanor. And I think he just takes every game in stride. And like I said, I think it aligns with Blashill's mindset of you don't need to be perfect every game. And I think he just goes out there, obviously wants a shutout every game, but you can't get a shutout every game. And I think he's definitely okay with every performance that he's had. And like I said earlier, he's learning learning as he goes, and just his cool, calm demeanor. And what he's learned in Florida too has helped him a lot this year.
Kalen, I want to ask you about the Blackhawks defensive unit. I mean, you look at the group, there's Alex Vlasic with Louis Crevier, Wyatt Kaiser with Artyom Lashunov, Matt Grzelcyk with Connor Murphy. Like, none of those names really stand out as like outstanding, hardcore, long-term NHL defensemen. We know Murphy's been around for a long time, but when this defense is playing well, how would you describe the things that's leading to that success that it's having? Because again, no like marquee players on this back end for the Hawks, and yet, you know, they put together some nice stretches so far this year.
I think they're learning to be a lot more physical than what they started off the year being, especially Louis Crevier. He's already a big guy and he's getting more hits in, and I guess just these defensemen are making themselves known on the ice. And of course, there's some games where the defense could be better, but the pairs that they have right now have been clicking a lot. And I've loved what Levshinov, tried saying that 3 times fast, what Levshinov has been doing this year. And I think it's just everyone has gotten used to each other and they're getting more confident skating in those pairs that they're with right now. And I think these are pairs that I think these are pairs that will stick together for the rest of the season. And yeah, I just think they've gotten way more comfortable with each other.
We're going to see how the Oilers try to test that inexperienced, younger back end of the Chicago Blackhawks. Obviously, Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl doing their thing. They feasted on the Hawks in recent years. However, I want to ask you, Kalen, what kind of hockey game do you think we're in for? No Bedard. Do you think we're going to see high scoring? Do you think the Hawks are going to be vulnerable with this flu that's been going around? Or you think they're going to be tough with their backs against the wall against the Oilers tonight?
I think what we've seen with the Hawks in Nashville, how they were able, with obviously the inconvenient circumstances, having 4 people out with the flu, and they were able to get that shutout win. I think that's a good opportunity for this team's confidence to boost higher than it ever was this year. So I don't think we'll probably get. I think it'll come down to the first period. I think because the Hawks aren't great at first periods this season, but I think we should expect a low scoring game, I imagine, but it'll be hard for the Hawks to contain, obviously, Connor McDavid, one of the best players in hockey right now. It'll be hard to contain him without Bedard, especially in this short moment. But I think it'll come down to how the first period goes, and I guess we'll see from there.
Kalen, you saying take the under over at Play Alberta, our presenting sponsor, which is set at 6.5 tonight for all those that like to dabble a little bit in the betting. So that's a good recommendation. I'll go with you. I'll ride with you on that one. Appreciate the time, Kalen. Enjoy the game, and hopefully we'll do this again sometime.
Awesome. Thank you for having me.
That is Kalen Lumpkins from the Chicago Tribune, beat reporter for the Blackhawks, giving us the scoop on the Bedard-less Chicago Blackhawks. Is that a bummer, Benny, or are you looking at it going, okay, time to cook for the Oilers. Let's go. Take advantage of this.
Mix of both. I like watching Connor Bedard play. Like, to me, his style, I think, is a intriguing one, and I thought he probably should have made Team Canada, but who am I? But in tonight's matchup, man, for the Oilers, take advantage of this. Like, this is a great opportunity. They're missing their key guy. They're dealing with the flu. You know, I'd imagine there's guys that are playing tonight that still aren't feeling 100%. They're probably battling through the sickness.
Right.
So, yeah, to me, if you're the Oilers, you got your dads in the crowd. I just saw a clip of them. They got them the alt jerseys for each dad.
Okay.
So that's their tie-in. That's their thing they get to take home, which is nice. So, but yeah, to me, if you're the Oilers, take advantage of this. This is a great opportunity to once again, we've talked about a 3-game win streak, but this is a good start. You're in Chicago, have some fun, beat a team that's missing their top guy. I think it's a great opportunity to get it done.
Take advantage indeed. Let's go into the inbox and the nasty chat, 780-218-9999. And then, of course, over on YouTube is where you can join the conversation as well if you're watching. Hampton Steve says, normally I'd be confident in the Oilers against a Bedard-less Blackhawks team, but with these Oilers, it's a 50-50 chance they take this game lightly, especially with Bedard not playing. And I understand where Hampton Steve is coming from on that one. I want to believe that they don't go easy, if you will, on the Blackhawks without Connor Bedard. But because of what Hampton Steve outlined there, I have that doubt in my mind covering this team this year and watching this team this year. It's like, yeah, there's the but. And they haven't been able to nullify the but this year. Timber Woodsman texting in and says, hopefully we get to see Darnell Nurse's dad saying, beat his ass again. That was funny. Richard Nurse. He is a character, lots of personality, and a really nice guy. So that was funny. That was like 2019, 2018, somewhere around there. I think that was in Ottawa.
It was.
If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, that was pretty funny. Let's go to Coach Mike texting in. Says, hoping the Oilers have some healthy leads this week so Knobloch can spread out the minutes. Oilers play 5 games in 7 nights, 3 on the road, 2 at home. It's a crazy schedule from Coach Mike. Yeah, it really is. Now we're going to see how condensed it is leading up to the Olympics. And not to say that it was spread out beforehand, but there's a lot of hockey being played this month in Oil Country and with this team. So we'll see how they handle it. All right, let's hear from head coach Chris Knobloch and see what he thinks going into this game. First of back-to-backs on back-to-back nights in Chicago and Nashville. Let's head down to the United Center and hear from the head coach.
For the players, and not just for the players, but for all the extended staff as well. Does that ramp up the intensity level? Make it? It's obviously got to be a fun experience for all the guys.
It's a fun experience. Obviously, I think all the dads are having a good time, but I also know that the players and staff appreciate the organization allowing the fathers to be part of this, and just creates a little excitement. The season is a grind. It's a long season, and you look for little things that you can get excited about and enjoy, and this is definitely a time that everyone can enjoy.
You're getting a lot of productivity right now to Leon Draisaitl, along with Vasily Podkolzin and Kasperi Kapanen. Are you surprised at the tempo and pace that Kasperi's been able to come back at after missing 36 games?
Yeah, it's quite a stretch that we were missing him. But the way we saw him skating and practicing, you knew he was ready to go physically. But to find your game, the timing, the puck play, I thought that would take a little bit more time. But, obviously there's some chemistry. Those three have played together. They're familiar with each other. And then, that line's been producing, pretty much right from the start together. So, hopefully they can continue doing that because they're definitely helping us.
What are you looking for from Andrew Mangiapane tonight?
Just feeling more comfortable with his game. I think there've been some mistakes, but mostly it's just puck play, not feeling confident and making plays. There's a player that's obviously should be able to make plays. He's an NHL veteran who's put up a lot of offense. I think he's in a good spot right now. He's had a great attitude. He's practiced really hard. Couldn't ask anything more from him. So, inserting him back in the lineup, I think will help us.
Tristan Jarry and Jake Wallman, how close are they to a potential return here?
Very, very close, and maybe not ready for tonight, but maybe tomorrow. But both of them are very close.
You've seen Chicago once already. They've been through some ups and downs, but they've managed to hang in there. What is the challenge in facing them?
Well, I think a lot of it is their speed and skill up front. They've got a lot of speedy forwards who are dangerous and put the puck in the net. And then their defense is tall, lanky. They create take up a lot of space. So, and then obviously goaltending. Spencer Knight's been fabulous this year for them. And, anytime you have good goaltending, it definitely helps you. So I know they have had their ups and downs with a lot of young teams. That'll happen. But also when you're missing your star player for a stretch, that will happen too. So, I think overall it's a good team, and last time we played them, we had a good game, so we'll anticipate the same tonight.
You mentioned goaltending for the Oilers. Will it be Connor Ingram tonight?
Connor Ingram's the goalie.
I'm really late, and I don't know if Paige asked you about the father's trip.
Bob did.
Yeah, Bob did? Oh, okay, great. Oh, Stu Hyman asked? Oh, great.
Anyways, it's been a great trip, and everyone's having a good time, and the only way to make it any better was 2 wins on this trip.
Can to ask you about your dad specifically, if you didn't. Yeah, a little bit about him and his mentorship and what kind of a father he has been to you.
Yeah, obviously, fathers play a big role in our career. Whether that's as a player or a coach, now that I've moved on from being a player, it's been a coaching, and I've relied on him for just talking about the team and what's going on, and I just think about the sacrifices dads have made and moms, but we're focusing on the dads because they're with us right now. How many early morning practices and driving, and just the other day, my dad and I were talking about last night, a certain town near Imperial, my hometown, they got a new rink or an upgrade to their rink, and I said, he asked me if I'd played there before, and it's like, well, no, actually, I took a warm-up, but then I wasn't eligible to play, so he was there, he showed up. Right around warm-up, which I took, but then found out I couldn't play, so then he drove me to another town where my regular team was playing, so just stuff like that I know all fathers and parents have done. They're a very big part of our lives.
Do you think that he gets more nervous watching you now as a head coach than he did watching you as a player, or how do you think that goes for him?
I think there's been more nerves as a coach. I'm not sure. I don't know. I'll ask him that much. I'm not sure, but I assume it's more now.
We know that you have previously been connected, of course, with Brent Ingram. What's it like for you guys to reconnect?
Very positive. It's great seeing him. I've only seen him a couple times since I graduated. He was my high school teacher for numerous years, homeroom teacher in grades 7 and 8, and somebody that I had a lot of respect for. He spent a lot of extra time with our sports. He was our badminton coach, football coach, track and field, you name it. So I had a lot of interactions with him, so it's nice to catch up with him again.
All right, there's head coach Chris Knobloch. I don't know if he's sick or if he indulged with the daddies last night, but you could tell the voice was a little bit different. I will give him the benefit of the doubt and say he's dealing with an illness, because I think he's very dialed into coaching, and maybe he went out for a social sparkler or two, but I don't think he would overindulge, and so he should be ready to go and fighting fit, just maybe dealing with a little bit of whatever's going around right now, illness-wise. Great stories there. I did not know about the connection to Connor Ingram's dad. That's kind of a neat story, and I find that fascinating. And speaking of dads, let's go to our good friend Strummy. I like this. As Bumblebee Tuna, boys. Dylan brought home the showcase MVP this past weekend. It's his first year playing defense. Been a lot of ups and downs, more downs than ups, but I am one proud dad from Strummy. And looks like Dylan got a pretty cool one of those big necklaces with the chains. It says showcase MVP. Looking sharp there. He's got his battle paint under his eyes. I think he's Fort Sask Rangers. Is that Fort Sask Rangers, Strummy? But looks looks good. Well done, Dylan. Congrats, buddy, on being showcase MVP. That's a pretty good honor, and Dad's happy, and I'm sure his son is pretty pumped up as well. Abutski, I saw this and kind of chuckled, says, "Hey, Tommy, are the Blackhawks without Bedard like Bachman and Turner without Overdrive in 2010? I hope not, because they played great that day." Yes, Abutski, you're still on me about the 2010 Grey Cup halftime show, which, although it was good, I did not love. But that's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. I had a great time at the 2010 Grey Cup. All right, Benny, any other thoughts? We've got a few more minutes here.
I was listening to you guys talk about earlier today about the decision between Ingram and Pickard. Ingram getting the start tonight, once again, doesn't surprise me. I think they understand, this is going to be Ingram's net unless he plays brutal enough to where Pickard's going to come in or just obviously Pickard's probably going to start tomorrow against Nashville. So there's that choice as well. But, I'm very curious to see where they go. I like what you were saying about how, as long as Ingram doesn't hit that 10-game threshold, you punt this situation farther down the line. you keep this asset here. There's a goalie in the AHL right now for Bakersfield, Ungar. Yeah, he's playing pretty well right now too. So I mean, if they lose a goalie, it seems like maybe that's a guy that could stick around the AHL with Tompkins. So it's a very interesting decision that they're going to have to make eventually here. I'd imagine this is going to be something that they're going to have to make. If they send Ingram down when Jari's healthy, which should be sometime soon, I'd imagine there's a time where he's probably going to get a call up and going to have to play that 10th game or something along the lines of that.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a very interesting decision. I'm very curious to see where they go.
The easy road is to punt it down to a later date. And that's if you're not 100% sure or you just want to buy yourself some time. Do I think Connor Ingram's high end is better than Calvin Pickard's? Yes. I'm with everybody on that. Do I see a steady goalie in Connor Ingram in his 6 games so far? Yep. But the numbers aren't earth-shattering. Mm-hmm. What's the goals against average is around, it's just under 3. The save percentage is just under 9. The win-loss record is 3-2-1. And I feel like, he's getting more comfortable and more settled in, but I'm still not 100% sold just yet. And I think eventually he'll be the guy anyway. So we'll see what they decide to do with this. And I think, and I've said this before, I said it to Cass, I believe in loyalty as well. And I think that Connor or Calvin Pickard has earned some, and to just be disregarded and kind of thrown out because of a poor start to the season, because of how badly the team was playing defensively. And then, yes, you couldn't make a save after the first few weeks, just like Stu Skinner. I don't think that's fair. That's just my opinion.
Yep.
And we'll see how it goes. And it's good news that Jari's getting very close and Wallman's getting very close, and that should help this group overall. And there's still a lot of hockey left to be played. So leave a lot of doors open, keep a lot of options available, and that's probably the best case scenario. We'll see how they want to go about handling this situation. So there's that. There is that. Brandon from Windsor says, Tommy, that was me concerned about your gambling sense. Yes, I know. Thank you, Brandon from Windsor. Small sprinkles. I addressed that on the oil stream this afternoon. It's not very big bets and just a small amount on football game days mostly. Let's go to Hampton Steve. Texting in says, Pickard might not be playing tomorrow night. Bob was heavily teasing on his show today. Both Wallman and Jari will likely play tomorrow. And the Oilers could get cap compliant by just putting Henrique on LTIR. Would mean carrying 3 goalies. Yeah, that's fair. And maybe they've let Bob and the broadcast crew in on what they plan on doing. They usually do give them a heads up, especially on road trips like that. And them being rights holders, they do get a bit of a heads up on stuff like that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Because Knobloch even kind of hinted at it in his pregame interview there, where it's like maybe tomorrow. Yeah. Wink, wink, nudge. It's kind of what it seemed like. So yeah, I'm curious to see if that's the case, and if they're gonna run 3 goalies, man. I understand it. Same. Yeah, I think that they're just wanting a bigger sample size. They'll probably use Ingram to his 9 games threshold, right, and then probably send him down. I'd imagine. The 3-headed goalie monster is never good. I remember my first year covering the team. They had Dwayne Rollison, Jeff Drouin, Delorier, and Devin Dubnyk. And all 3 of them did not. I think Dubnyk was the happiest because he was just up in the NHL. Yeah. That was his first real taste of it. But I remember I had to do a one-on-one with Rolly, and he pulled me aside where the other guys couldn't hear him for the interview. And he said exactly what he needed to say and shared exactly how he felt about it. And I don't think JDD loved it either. But it's not ideal. And then where else did they have that? I can't remember, but it around the league, you hear them. It's just it's not great. So we'll see, but interesting and good to hear guys are getting healthy. All right. That's going to do it for the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show. Big thank you to Kalen Lumpkins from the Chicago Tribune for hopping on, giving us the scoop on the Blackhawks. No Connor Bedard tonight.
Andrew Mangiapane back in action for the Oilers. Ike Howard comes out. And we'll see Connor Ingram in goal for the Oil and Spencer Knight on the other side for the Blackhawks. Really quickly, the Oilers have absolutely owned Chicago in recent games. They've won 5 straight visits to United Center, and they've won 3 straight overall against Chicago and 9 of the last 10. So they're looking to continue to stay hot against the Blackhawks, who again are without Connor Bedard. That's going to do it for the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show. For Joaquin, Gage, and Betty Thompson, I'm Tom Gazzola saying enjoy the hockey game. We will see you on the postgame show. Ciao for now.